Jazz and Beyond on 702 and Cape Talk with me, Notemba. And as usual, we always have these remarkable guests on the show. This is where you come for the jazz, you stay for a good time. And today, my guest is a pianist whose journey reminds us that there are some artists who spend years perfecting their crafts before the world truly notices them. My guest is a composer, she's an arranger, musical director, and educator, and a performer as well. And this is a woman who has effortlessly just moved between jazz, between gospel and Afropop, contemporary South African sounds. And whether she's shaping young musicians in the classroom, or she's just creating this beautiful original compositions on stage for herself. This is a woman who just approaches music both with excellence and, of course, her beautiful heart. And I'm talking about Lindy Ngonela. Hi, Lindy.
Hi, Sis Notemba.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
I'm fine. Was I off tune with that introduction?
Hey, it was.
Or did I hit it on the
It was
neck?
just a moment of like, whoa, I do all of that.
Yes, and yes, you
Very
do.
humbling, very heartwarming. Thank you for that warm introduction.
Yeah, but it's just also a way of making sure that you're seen, you're
Right.
acknowledged, you're celebrated,
Right.
and we love and appreciate what you do.
Thank you so
You know,
much.
and for you, it started at a very young age. I'm just wondering, when you were 12 years old,
Mm-hmm.
for the first time sitting at that piano,
Mm-hmm.
can you go back to that moment?
Yes, I can. I can. I had no idea that I would ever end up here. At the age of 12, that was the same age that my parents started our church back home in Durban. And so my dad found a piano teacher for me to start lessons with the intention of playing in church. And so the teacher he found was a classical piano teacher.
Yeah.
So for the first 2 years, I was going for lessons every Saturday morning. And 6 months, 8 months in, my dad is like, how are you still not playing in church? What's going on? And for me, I also didn't understand why. And it's only much later that I realized that because with classical music, the music is scored and you're playing what's written down in front of you.
Sure.
And with church, it's a completely different world where you'll get Umamus Banbani in the congregation who'll start a song.
Yes.
And then you're sitting at the keyboard and you're trying to find the key and then you just kind of play along.
Yes.
So I had not been exposed to that kind of playing yet at the time. So only at the age of 14 did I then get into gospel piano lessons and then got introduced to jazz as well. So that's where it really began.
But those 2 years as, learning the classical music,
Yes.
I'm sure they certainly gave you a great foundation
Yes, definitely.
that you appreciate today.
Definitely. Because also when I started with the gospel / jazz piano lessons, I had the advantage of being able to sight read as well. And I had a bit of knowledge with music theory as well. So I wasn't completely starting from scratch. And then by the time I got to tertiary institution, I already had that foundation as well.
Yeah.
So it definitely was quite an advantage starting with it.
But why did your dad want you to play the piano for in church? Or did he see something?
I think he might have seen something. I think it was probably just I realized later that it was a blessing in disguise. I think he probably saw something. And a big part of me also wondered why he didn't just ask my two brothers I have two older brothers.
Yeah.
So why did he not just get one of them to go for lessons and play in church? But yeah, I think he saw something.
And he probably thought, no, I can trust this one in church.
You probably
the boys might go left sometime.
yeah.
Sometime in the future. But and I agree with you in the sense that the advantage of having started with classical, that's where you also learned the technique.
Yes.
And then obviously then you are able to improvise with the gospel and anything
Yes.
else.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had a bit of best of both worlds. Yeah.
And then who found you, Jazz, or you found Jazz?
Jazz found me.
Where were you sitting? Where were you hiding?
Jazz definitely found me. When I started with the jazz lessons, I one of the first people's music I was introduced to was Pops Muhammad. I remember my teacher just putting on a track because we would spend about 10-15 minutes of the lesson just listening to music. So I just don't remember the title of the track, but it was a Pops Muhammad. I definitely remember that. It was
Wow,
Pops
bless
Muhammad.
his soul.
Yes,
He's late now.
And yeah, I remember just listening to this and I was blown away. I was like, what is this? This is beautiful. And then I think about a month later, it was Hugh Masekela. And yeah, I was just blown away by this African jazz that I'm hearing for the first time.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that this kind of music existed at that time,
Wow.
So that kind of opened up a whole rabbit hole that I kind of started going down.
So did you then start, by wanting to play like these people that you admired?
Yes.
Which pianists were those that you got exposed to that you thought, look, if I can sound like that?
Yeah. In later years, one of the first pianists that I got introduced to was Babu Temba Mkize.
Okay.
And he remained an inspiration throughout the years. And I think the biggest thing for me was his ability to merge your African kind of music with your mainstream jazz or bebop even,
yes.
Yeah. That fascinated me. Like, how do you do that? How do you make it sound like a genre, Sure, who else? The late George Duke.
Okay.
Also, he was a very big influence as well. I remember wanting just to sound funky like him. He really had that funk sound down to a science.
And he also did incorporate some gospel sounds into his playing as well.
Definitely, yes. For me, those two pianists are the two that really, really stood out for me.
Now, I mean, the first time I got to know you was when you belonged to this all-girl jazz band.
Heels Overhead.
Heels Overhead.
Yes.
And which obviously was just fascinating, just to have all these women.
Right.
And the bass, the piano, vocals, there. I'm like, yes, girls. And why did you even think that, look, let's just do it all as girls rather than just as a band that has members who can do what they do?
Yeah. I actually was roped into the band. The band existed before I even knew they were there.
Yeah.
And so a friend of mine, Tuli Lezama, the vocalist, she's the one who called me up and said, listen, we've got this band going on and we need a pianist. And I was more than keen because I was still busy with my studies at the time, but I was nearing the end of my studies. And I was like, what am I going to do? I don't really have any direction. I don't know where I'm going to go, what I'm going to do. So I thought, yeah, cool, let's do it. Let me get into it. And because I had also shown a very big love for composition and arranging during my studies, it was a very good platform as well for me to put that into practice as well.
Wow. So some of the songs in there are some of your compositions.
Yes, composed and arranged as well.
For those who don't know the band, what were you composing about? You're still a young girl. What stories can you tell?
To be fair, I'm not much of a lyricist.
Yeah.
More of I'll put music to what is already there. So Tulile was the one who did the lyrics.
Okay.
And then I just kind of put music and a bit of melodies here and there to what she had already written.
So what happened now? Because, now you all split and then some are getting married, some are in love, some are having children, some are like,
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. I guess we just started finding our own paths. We all started growing,
Yeah.
and we kind of had to find direction elsewhere and just pursue other things. So that's what it was for me. When I left, I was relocating to Joburg
Yeah.
from Durban. So
Why did you find a man?
it was for work purposes.
Akazi phela.
Sis Natemba. It was purely for work.
Okay.
But also everyone else just started sort of pursuing solo careers as well. Yeah.
Okay.
That's really what it was.
Yeah, but which is look, I guess what destiny had for everyone, everyone would pursue it, but it does again, raise the question of the challenges of and the differences between women units staying longer than or shorter than men as bands or
Yes.
as units or as a project, because probably because women find themselves having many more roles than just being an artist. Do you believe that?
Yes, to a certain extent.
Because not only, I mean, are you an artist? You also then have family. You also have maybe your family, and then most of the time, women are given the the primary roles in driving, what needs to happen.
I guess also that's why we're good at multitasking. We always just find a way to be able to juggle everything. But
But at what cost?
that's also true. That's also
Yeah.
true. It does come to a point where you have to kind of just put yourself and your needs first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know whether it's the water or it's the sun in KZN, but or even maybe UKZN, the university.
Yeah.
But so many beautiful talent has come out of there.
Yes.
So when you were moving to Joburg, were you a Jim comes to town, or or you already had things planned, things in order, and or were you just, look, I'm coming, I've got a job, I've got I'll make my way. How was it for you, or were you a little anxious and nervous about coming?
Yeah.
Had you had all sorts of horror stories about Jews?
Yes. I'd heard all kinds of things. Yeah, I definitely was anxious before coming here. I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but I didn't have anything solid in place at the time.
Yeah. What was
And
the idea?
the idea was, there were a couple of musicians that I'd spoken to, and people were just like, no, come. When you're here, no, we'll work, type of thing. So that's all I had to go on at that time. So when I made the transition, I was like, Lord, we'll see when we get there. My parents gave me the benefit of the doubt also.
Yeah.
I had to convince them that, listen, I need to do this for the progression of my career.
Sure.
I need to do this. There's nothing more for me in Durban. I've done pretty much everything there is to do in Durban music-wise. So let me just expand my horizons and allow me to move to Joburg. So that's what that was. So when I got here, I attended a couple of jam sessions here and there just to kind of be in people's faces and let people know that I exist, I'm here. And then I kind of was just idling around for a few months until I got a teaching job at the East Rand School of the Arts in 2014.
That long, and you've been there since?
I had been there from 2014 and I resigned in 2025, last year.
Oh, just last year.
I resigned, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So that has kept you going for a long time.
Yes, definitely.
Let's talk about that experience with your students and your kids, that you teach, have some of them that have come through your piano hands and brain
Yes.
come out to shine in the world?
Yes. Yes. So that was my first experience working with high school children.
Mm.
So getting thrown into that kind of deep end where I now have to deal with kids that I need to discipline, kids who are dealing with puberty and adolescence, and girls who are going boy crazy and boys who are girl crazy. I had to kind of find a way to manage that, you know. But I was also just blown away by the immense talent that has come to that school year after year since November.
Ne?
The kids in the East Rand, man, are so gifted. And a lot of them come from very tough backgrounds, very difficult upbringings, but they are determined that, listen, I'm going to make this work one way or another.
What was surprising you most? Was it the talent or was it their courage?
I think both.
Okay.
I think both. Just how determined they were to make things work,
Yeah.
regardless of where they come from. They were always eager for an opportunity to showcase, to perform. Wherever there's a spotlight, they are there.
They
They're
were
more than willing,
always excited.
more than excited to perform and just show off what they have. You know, very confident performers also. And I always like to say that a lot of people would congratulate me. Oh, your kids are doing so well. And I'm like, hey, listen, I'm just here to prune them here and there, but they are the ones who did all the work.
Sure.
I don't want to take the credit for
Yeah.
what they've done, you know.
But did you find that though that they might have had some misconceptions about success in the industry?
Yes.
That it's information you had to impart.
Yes. So over the years that I was there, we would host some masterclasses now and again, invite people from the industry, and to really just show these kids how many avenues there are that one can pursue in the industry. So because for them, all they're exposed to is music videos and performers and singers. So they think that that's all there is to do, and they think that that's what they want to do. And then when they get told that, no, there's composition, there's writing jingles for ads. You don't necessarily have to be in the spotlight, but you can still make money behind the scenes.
You can produce.
You can produce. There's so much to do behind the scenes, you know. So that kind of opened up their perspective that, oh, okay, I don't necessarily have to be on stage, because not all of them are born performers, but they do have some kind of skill or talent when it comes to the music.
Which becomes important. Did you find though, as you were teaching, that either the teaching made you a better musician?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Because they kept me on my toes also. Because some of them were quite challenging, and they would ask questions that I would then have to be like, okay, wait, let's put a pause on that. I'm actually going to go. Because sometimes I don't know all the answers. So I'd be like, let's put a pause on that. I'll come back to you with an answer. Go back, do my research, come back with an answer to say, okay, this is what I found.
Wow.
So they would always keep me on my toes. That was a challenge that I really enjoyed. Yeah.
And now you have performed with so many other musicians as supporting them in their work.
Yes.
Have you found a way in which, when you do that, you support them fully, or did you find that it's important to bring yourself into ngoba phela now you compose phela now you arrange phela so you might have an idea of how, if this song went that way, it would sound much better or have a better impact.
I hear you.
Where do you draw the line? Good, hey, Lindy, how to this is not yours.
This is not
It's not about you.
It's always important for me to draw the distinction between Lindy Ngonelo the artist and Lindy Ngonelo the sessionist.
Yeah.
So I'm always aware of, if I'm on the bandstand for a particular artist, that's what I am. I'm the pianist for that particular artist. So
Mm.
it's not about, if they ask for my contribution, I'm more than happy to give some input if I do have. But when I'm wearing that hat, I know that, okay, we're doing so and so's music, and this is how the music is going. This is what we're doing from A to Z. That's it. And
Do-
then when it's my show, when it's a
Yeah.
Lyndon Gonella show,
Yeah.
okay, guys, this is what we're doing. This da 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 for each song.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
That actually brings me to the next sort of topic, so to speak, because I read you said that somebody once asked you how you play well for a girl. Yeah. And the question is, do you think the issue was that comment said something about that person rather than you?
Yes, I think so. There's still that stereotype that we as female
Namanje.
musicians are still trying to break. You would
Namanje.
be surprised.
Even now?
You would be surprised, it's November. Even to this day, people still have that notion that, oh, she's just a girl. What does she know? You know? And this is a conversation that I have with Ostebza all the time that, oh my goodness, when are we going to break past this? When are people going to just get past this? You know, you won't hear them saying, you play well for a guy to a guy.
Of course.
Because it's always expected that a guy will play well, a guy will do well in whatever role he's placed in.
And it sounds so ridiculous.
No, it really does. It really does. So it's something that we are fighting all the time. And it's something that I always correct also. I remember I posted something on my Facebook page a few months ago, probably sometime last year. And I said something along the lines of, I'm not a female pianist, I'm just a pianist. And people were going off at me in the comments. People were like, no, but you are a woman. Da, 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 da. People were going off and they were arguing amongst themselves because I was like, let me actually see how people are going to react to this. Let me allow them to argue amongst themselves in the comments. And they proved me right that they still think like that.
Were any of the comments from fellow musicians? Or was it more just the public?
No. Fellow musicians, I think by now know my stance. Those who know me know my stance. They know what I think and how I feel
And
about
what
that.
you stand for.
Yes.
Do you think, though, the South African music industry has become more welcoming to women, especially women instrumentalists? Or it's no, and it's just quiet?
I think it's very slow. It's very slow. The female musicians you would see
Because
would be
I'm asking that in also trying to discover whether or not, you know, are you called up a lot as a pianist, or are they particular names that are always top of the list? You know,
yeah.
where whose talent is on par with yours, or you could also just have done this project as brilliantly, kind of thing.
Yeah. I've definitely found that it's usually the same people that will get called for certain gigs, certain festivals, certain shows, and it's been very slow with welcoming us female instrumentalists. And I guess I don't know what it's going to take to change that, because I mean, I'd like to think that they do know that we exist, but yeah, I don't know what it's going to take to change that. But it's been very slow.
Do you think, as women, instrumentalists and talent, you have any sort of responsibility for those who are coming behind you in terms of either letting them know that this is the lay of the land, ne? This is what you will probably come up against, and this is how you must prepare yourself, and how you must not take it personally. It's not aimed at you as a person.
Yeah.
It is just a sort of a psychology or an outlook or a state of seeing things that our society still has to either outgrow.
Yeah.
And Mara, why are they scared of women, Mara?
They're very intimidated by us.
I
I'd love to know.
know.
I'd love to know. Because, they'll say, oh, I want a woman who's able to stand up for herself, a woman who is able to do all these things for herself. And then as soon as they have that, then they are intimidated by it. So it's like, decide, what do you want?
It's like, no, I know I said I want this, but it's overwhelming
Yeah.
me. I think it's showing that I either don't have much or
Yeah.
don't know much.
Yeah. It's just a reflection on themselves.
It's more a
Yeah.
reflection on them
Right.
rather than, and being happy and celebrating that,
True.
I'm actually having a woman who knows and does it, and I'm proud of myself
Right.
to be associated with someone who,
Yes.
so they make it then a reflection on them
Mm-hmm.
when a woman is. This is me and answering myself now.
Asked and answered.
This is what I think.
Right.
Is it's not a fact, but it's just an opinion on my part
Mm-hmm.
in terms of what I think is happening in
Right.
society.
Right.
And then you go and record a song, and then you say, "In a man's world, I get claps once."
That was intentional.
Clearly,
That was very intentional. That
clearly.
was to let whoever thinks that they can.
So what I've just said is okay. My opinion. Yes.
That was just to let people know that, listen, man, we are here as women and we are putting our footprint here, whether you like it or not. We're not going anywhere. And it's for all the female instrumentalists also, specifically instrumentalists. I think there's a lot of representation for female vocalists, but very few of us instrumentalists. So it really was just putting a stamp on the industry's ground to say we are here and we're here to make a mark.
Was it an you making an observation that it is a man's world, or was it something, were you making a statement which was just liberating for you to say, I am in a man's world, but I am in it.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah. Yeah. Because, I think we know that pretty much everything is, men just like to be in leadership, in power positions. Sometimes you find that they have a power trip also, but they're in power nonetheless. So it was just to say, yeah, we are here.
But have you, though, come across, engaged, or even found in your personal and maybe even your professional career that there are men who are not like that, who are very supportive,
Yes,
who are able to celebrate your skills, your talent,
Definitely.
and who you are,
definitely.
and honor that.
Absolutely. I don't speak for all the men when I say that.
Of course.
Men are, trying to run things. I've had, still do also have a lot of males who are in my circle, who are in my corner, always cheering me on from the sidelines. And they are the ones who have actually contributed to me building my confidence in myself as an artist. And they just believe that, no, go for it, you can do it. So it definitely helps to have those people in my corner as well.
I mean, you had your dad first thing,
Of course.
biggest
Biggest
your
supporter.
biggest, and
He was.
that in itself was I think a very great confidence foundation
Yes.
for any little girl.
Yes.
When your dad sees, you and the power and greatness in you,
Yes.
you are able to navigate the world.
Yes, absolutely.
And
Because it starts at home.
It
also.
starts at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And did that build your confidence, the confidence that you have today?
Yes, I would definitely say so. I
Mm.
would say so. Having my dad affirm me at any given moment was everything that I needed. Um, and I grew up with that. So
Yeah.
over the years, he would always affirm me and speak positively, pray over me, um, and just wish well for me. And now, without my dad having passed, my brother has now sort of seamlessly taken over the role of father. So
Mm.
he's now the guy who will just randomly drop me a text. I'm proud of you. I love you.
Mm.
Keep going. You know, he's that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there moments when your confidence drops a degree or two?
Yes.
What
Oh, yes.
when
Uh,
what is happening?
I think when I am sometimes I have moments where I compare myself to my fellow peers, fellow colleagues in the industry,
Mm.
and I look at them and I see the things they're doing and, you know, the shows they're doing and all of that. And I'm like, yo, I wish I could be doing that. And I, I feel like it takes a certain level of confidence to be able to do those kinds of things. Um, and somehow I just kind of convince myself that I don't have that much confidence or that level of confidence that I need to be able to achieve the things that they're doing. But it's a fleeting moment because it just comes
Mm.
and then I just kind
And then
of
you say, "I man,"
snap out of
you
it.
know,
Like
snap
no, no,
out.
no, that's
Mm-hmm.
not who you are. That's not what we're doing right now.
Mm.
So those moments do come, but I force myself to snap out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's important because there are some people who when the confidence drops, they stay there for too long
Mm-hmm.
in that low, level of
Yes.
confidence.
Yes.
So then it takes them a while longer
Yeah.
to get up
Yes.
and
Yes.
be on top of it. So the confidence of doing In a Man's World,
Mm-hmm.
the compositions in there.
Yeah.
What were you theming, or what were you trying to say in those compositions as you were playing? What kind of, when you were sitting there composing,
Yeah.
you were like, "We see you, dong dong dong."
It was a little bit of everything of who I am, my background. I was trying to kind of paint a picture of all of me. So the very first track is called Three's Company.
Yeah.
And the three that I'm referring to there is the Holy Trinity. So God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. And if we know that if you grew up in a black household, whenever there would be any kind of gathering, you open with prayer,
Yeah.
right? And so with Three's Company being the first track, that's sort of my opening prayer type of thing to say, okay, Lord, here's my project. Whoever listens to it, may they be blessed, may they be touched. And then when we go to In a Man's World, it's a complex time signature, so it's in 7/4, and I've always loved songs that are in odd time signatures, so I had to put in a little bit of that element as well. And then with the last track, which is called Tata, which was a dedication to my late dad, it's got a very gospel kind of feel, which is my background. Also, I grew up in church, and gospel music is very close to my heart. So I try to put in a few elements of who I am and the things that I love.
It does feel like a personal, autobiographical kind of expression of who Lindy Ngonela is
Yes.
in that album. And what has been the reaction? You released this in 2025. Right?
Yes.
What
yes.
has been the reaction to this music?
I've gotten only positive feedback so far. Everybody
Because
who has listened.
what did you get? Did you win or did you not get
I got
nominated
4
for
nominations for the Mzansi Jazz Awards.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Which I think that in itself is a great best female jazz artist, best jazz song, best jazz album,
Yes. And
uh,
best newcomer.
and best newcomer, all in
Yes.
one.
All in one.
Daddy, how it daddy. So which is lovely, and are you performing this album at various places, or what's the story?
Yes, I have had a few performances, not as many as I'd like to have.
Mm.
But I have had a few performances, and the music has been received very well. People really, really love, and people have their favorites. So they'll say, "Oh, I love In Full Bloom. Oh man, Three's Company is my jam. In a Man's
Yeah.
World is my jam." So it's always nice to see how people relate to different songs. You know,
Yeah.
how they love each track on the album.
And on that note, actually, then what do you assess about it? Where someone relates, is it because that song speaks to something in them in their personal lives, or do they even say to you? Have you found that there's you know a formula into how people respond to
Yeah.
to particular songs?
Yeah. I've found the musicians will generally be drawn to the track called In Full Bloom. It's got some very nice rhythmical things happening,
Yeah.
some very nice African elements also going on in there. And then people love also In a Man's World because of the vocal chant that's going on in the song, and it's very nice sing-along also kind of song, you know.
Yeah.
And I've had a friend of mine who tells me that her uncle plays the album every single day on repeat without fail.
Aibo.
And she sent a video, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, every day? She says he
Really?
loves your album. He will literally play it from the first track, play the entire album through every day. It was so heartwarming.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
So
is-
they have different tracks that they love and relate to.
which is beautiful. You're talking that you left the teaching at the school in
Yes.
the East Rand
Yes.
last year. You're now at Vets, lecturing at Vets.
Yes.
Yes, girl. Tell me about what you're doing there.
So Adverts, it's part time. So I'm just there 3 days a week, but it does allow me enough time also to be able to do other things as well. So I am an accompanist for the jazz students in the foundation level, and then I am also a keyboard skills teacher for the foundation level students as well as the first year students. So keyboard skills is just introduction basically to piano and just learning the basics of piano.
Oh, I
That's what that
see.
is,
Because
yeah.
I was like, keyboard skills.
Yeah, that's what
what's
that is. It's for the non-pianists. So for the singers or trumpet players or guitarists.
Oh.
So they need to have that as a module.
Mm.
Yeah, just to have that kind of foundation.
Okay. Are you enjoying that?
I am.
Okay.
I am. I think it's a nice challenge also.
Mm.
And with the accompaniment as well, there's some new standards that I'm learning as well because I have to play for them. So standards that you would just kind of page past over the years, and
Yeah.
then now I'm like, oh, this is how this. Oh, okay, this is actually a really nice piece. So it's a nice challenge.
Talking about standards, which ones are you loving?
Yo, there's so many. Sis Nothemba.
I know. Me too.
There's so many.
I love a lot.
Um,
But I mean, just those that come to mind
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
not necessarily.
Misty is one of my favorites.
Ooh, hello! I
Uh,
love the Sarah Vaughan version of that.
Yes, yes. I also love Wave.
Another Sarah Vaughan.
Yes.
I'm actually guilty of playing her version of her performance of that song in Japan because of how she completely rearranged it and was just going to town.
Okay.
You know,
I'm gonna check that one out.
you must check that out live in
Okay.
Japan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Another one that comes to mind is One Note Samba. Also, that's
Hey,
another.
boo. Okay.
That's another favorite as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Lovely.
Tenderly is
Mm.
another one. Um, Yeah, those are the ones that come to mind.
And then any of the South African standards or classics
Um,
that like even maybe when you just find a piano, you're like, you just go there automatically.
yeah.
You know?
I love. I don't know if it would be a standard,
Mm.
but I love Inner Peace by Babuthemba Mkhize featuring Mamu Sibongile Khumalo.
Yes.
Love Inner Peace. I also love Little Girl by Mamu Sibongile.
Yeah.
And then your Lakuchoni Langas, your Njilos as well, your
course.
Malaikas.
Mm.
Yeah.
Who is Lindy outside the music?
I'm a big dog lover. I love dogs.
No.
Grew up with dogs my entire life, so dogs are children to me.
Really?
Love dogs.
What do they do for you?
They're just a lovely companion to have around, and just this little bundle of energy to keep you company. You know, take them on walks, and they love that stuff. Buy them treats, and buy them toys. They love that stuff.
How many do you have?
I don't have any right now.
Haibo.
But
Whose dogs are you loving then?
I have a friend's dog I've been pet sitting for the past 2 months or so, and I've gotten so attached to her. But she's taken her back now. So I had hectic separation anxiety when she left. I was not coping. And I also love cooking as well.
Nice.
Yeah, I love trying out recipes. There's always these recipes videos that I'm seeing on Facebook or TikTok or whatever it is. I'm like, I need to try that out, and I
Are these
try them out.
meat dishes or are they just variety?
Yeah, just a variety.
Okay.
Just a variety.
I can't believe you love dogs, but you don't have one. I mean, what is that?
I think because at the moment I stay in an apartment, so I wouldn't want them cooped up in an apartment all day.
Okay.
I'd want them to have the yard and the space to run around.
If
know.
you had a dog, what would you call it? Or would you wait for its character and
Probably,
personality? Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But I think I would want to get two at the same time so that they'd be able to keep each other company.
Yo. Lindy, what still scares you?
Sis November.
Yeah.
My gosh, that question, I was not expecting that. Failure. Failure scares me. Rejection scares me. Sure. What else?
And when that fear comes, how do you handle it?
I don't put myself in a position where I would have to experience it, particularly with the rejection aspect. If I know that there's potential that somebody could say no or a door could be shut in my face, then I just don't put myself in that position because I'm not going to handle it well. I know myself.
What happens to you?
I will then just feel like, okay, the whole world is coming to an end. Everybody hates me, and I just think the most extreme things.
Because some people react like that, then they go and just shut the world out and be on their own.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Or some just go on a shopping spree and just and pretend nothing is wrong.
Yeah, no, I'm very much a homebody, so I would definitely just be home and shut everybody out, shut everything and everyone out, until I kind of come out of it.
But I'm sure when those doors close or someone says no or whatever, there are things that give you peace.
Yes.
What are those?
Yes. Being in solitude actually gives me peace. But I also think, in the same breath, being around my close people that I love, people who understand me, I do think that I am misunderstood also. So being around the people who just get who Lindy is, that also gives me peace because I'm able to be at ease with them and just be free around them as well.
As a creative, you also find yourself having to deal with all sorts of people.
Mm-hmm.
Some people lie, some people betray, some people disappoint you, and all sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
And you find yourself having to handle that, whether in the professional or even on personal or
Mm-hmm.
even family. How have you, because you have to forgive,
Mm-hmm.
for your own peace.
Right.
And as a creative, does that experience or those emotions then go into your music, into your creativity,
Mm-hmm.
where you are reflecting on these experiences and these emotions that you have to go through? And
Yeah.
have you found yourself having to forgive some mampara somewhere?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you just put all that energy into what gives you joy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Sometimes,
Mm.
sometimes, with me trying to, because with God commanding us to forgive others, it's not the easiest thing to do.
But
Um,
you're forgiving them for yourself,
that's
not for
true.
them.
No, that's true. I
Mm.
know. I know. Especially when you have to forgive and no one has apologized, but you must forgive anyway, just to
Yeah.
set yourself free.
Mm.
So yes, I actually do have a couple of unrecorded and unreleased compositions that I have. One is called Moments of Reflection,
Mm.
where you hear at the beginning it's got a very tumultuous kind of introduction to it, and then everything just kind of calms down
Mm.
at the end of that. And um it's just kind of trying to paint a picture of, hey, this is what you did to me, this is what you put me through, but
Mm.
it's fine, I'm okay, I've forgiven you, when the music calms down. It definitely has translated into the creative aspect as well.
That's great to know. So you've got some compositions that are
I've got a bunch.
waiting in the
I've got a bunch
wings
of them.
and waiting
Yes.
to be given wings to fly.
Yes. I do.
And these are based on, for what period have they been accumulating, and are those also just an expression of moments in your life? You know.
These have been sitting for maybe 10 plus years.
Mm.
Um, and it's been experiences of just what's been happening over the years.
Mm.
But also some of them I wrote when I was fresh out of university. So you'll hear that I was trying to put a lot of everything I learned in one one song, just to
Yeah.
say, hey, this is what I studied, this is what I did, this is what I've
Mm.
achieved. So listen to it here in this one song.
Mm.
Be ready to be thrown off. So I'm hoping to at some point get
So
back into studio
how
and
did they not find their way into the album?
because they are very different from what is on In a Man's World.
Mm.
So these ones that I've got sitting, they are very mainstream jazz. It's a very different sound from In a Man's World. So I didn't want to gel the two
Okay.
together. Yeah, I
Okay.
want them to be two separate entities.
That's very interesting. So we can expect an album of that nature.
Yes,
Ah,
absolutely.
Nazog.
Absolutely.
Nazog. What do you still want to do musically?
Musically, I have a few festivals I'd love to perform at. I'd love to play at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. I would love to do the Cape Town International Jazz Festival. Obviously record new music as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what comes to mind
That's
right now.
that's what comes to mind.
Yeah.
But in the immediate, is that in the immediate future?
Yeah. Sure. I just want to play, Sis Notemba.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I want to hear. Yeah, you just want to play.
I just
Okay,
want to play.
you're gonna play just now. There's a piano outside, so I've you know there's something that I like to do as I wrap up my conversations with my guests, which I'm calling the Jazz Minute.
Okay.
Might take more than a minute, but hey, here we are.
Okay.
When you practice, do you practice? Where do you practice?
Hey.
And yeah,
Hey.
yeah,
Next question, please.
yeah. I must ask. I mean.
To be,
My question though is, Lindy Ngonela, when best time for her to practice? Is it at sunrise or late at night practice?
late at night works best for me.
Right.
I'm not a morning person. Late night definitely works best for me. I think
Mm.
that's where I am most in my creative headspace.
Mm.
That's where ideas flow more freely.
Mm.
So late night, definitely. That's when I'm in my element.
Okay. Do you prefer standards or original compositions?
It depends. Where am I playing? It depends.
Okay. Solo piano or with the band?
Oh man. Yo. So I can't choose both. Cause
Yeah, I just want the truth.
I have so much freedom and I can just create on the spot if it's solo piano. But with the band also there's that synergy that just kind of comes up impromptu, you know.
Mm.
So with the band.
With the
I'll
band.
go with the
It
band,
gives
yeah.
you a communal
Mm.
feeling
Mm.
and feeding off each other.
Yes.
Kind of
I
thing.
love that, yeah.
Yeah. Do you prefer sheet music or playing by ear?
Playing by ear. I'm not the greatest sight reader.
Uh-huh.
My sight reading has rusted over the years.
Mm.
So playing by ear.
Would that then require the lots of practice? Which one requires more practice?
I do think I have quite a strong ear.
Mm.
I'm very quick at picking up melodies and chord progressions.
Mm.
So if I've heard it once or twice, then I'm good to go.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow. I want to be like you when I
have a
grow
pretty
up.
strong ear.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe then what's the one word that describes your kind of playing?
One word.
Or two?
Heartfelt and
Mhm.
passionate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. One musician you'd invite to dinner, whether they are living or alive. I mean, what am I saying?
Whether they're living or not.
or not, or to pirate. Living or alive.
Oh my.
That you'd like to invite to dinner and just sit with them and just talk and share.
Sure. That would have been the late George Duke.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I would have
Really?
loved to just have a conversation with him about his headspace when he performs, when
Okay.
he composes. Yeah. Definitely him.
Is there an album that every young pianist must have?
Whew. I think I'm gonna say oh my goodness. Begum Selegu's Home at Last.
Okay,
think
I
it's
thought you were going to say George Duke yet again. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a nice culmination of South African jazz. But it also includes your bebop, and it includes very nice and complex arranging techniques that he had also. So it's a little bit of everything. I think every pianist can definitely pick up something from that album.
If you're not playing the piano, what instrument would you be playing?
I would have been playing the bass.
Okay.
I would have been playing the bass.
Tell me why.
I am always singing along to bass lines in some songs, and I'll be mimicking a bass player if I'm if I'm singing along to a bass line. Yeah, I think definitely the bass.
Look, I know that your album, In a Man's World, is sort of a biographical story of you up to this point.
Mhm.
But if your life was a soundtrack, Nji,
Mhm.
you know, what would the title be?
Oh my. Mm. Oh, that's a good question. I need a moment to think of that one. I'm just trying to think of something that would that would capture everything of who I am.
The essence of Lindy Ngonela.
Yeah, but we have the essence of Mimi. Doesn't Mimi Mjali have
No,
an
no, no.
album called?
That is a question. I'm not saying that's the answer.
Yeah,
the one word.
probably something along those lines. Yeah.
Oh, Lindy.
Not good at these kinds of questions, it's not Ember. Please, you put me on the spot here.
I mean, you've performed in many places. Is there any particular city that inspires you?
It's gonna sound cliched, but Joburg does inspire me. I think because of how people are becoming so open to jazz now, and enjoying it so much more, and intentionally wanting to understand the genre now.
Yeah,
In different spaces, I've seen how people really enjoy
lovely.
different types of jazz also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I also just love to see it, and I just watch in glee. I'm like, yay! This church is growing.
Yes.
On that note, gospel or jazz?
Sure. My gosh.
Don't worry, your dad's not listening.
I'm gonna go with jazz, and then I'll just throw in some gospel elements. I'm gonna go with jazz.
When you create, though, do you compose first or you improvise first?
I compose first. It will usually be either a melody that comes to mind, or a drum groove, or a bass line, or a chord progression. It's never the same formula. Yeah, in which it happens.
You know, when musicians are performing and watching a performance, and then the song ends. There are times when the song ends, and then there's silence before the applause.
Yes.
Or the song ends, and they start applauding as the song ends. What happens, or what do you think at the time as musicians or as a band? Is like,
I'm thinking,
did we?
did they like that?
No,
Did they enjoy that?
Did they enjoy that, or
Yeah.
was that so impactful that they were stunned? You know.
Yeah, that does cross my mind. I've had moments where I'll finish a song and then it's dead quiet for like half a second. And I'm like, oh, snap. Okay, maybe I flopped. Maybe I bombed that one. And then they'll just erupt into this big applause. And some people will even stand to applaud. I'm like, oh, okay. They actually enjoyed that. Oh, great. Okay. Whew. Sigh of relief.
Yeah, because sometimes end of a song, you're just holding you're still caught in the emotion of the song and the
Yes,
performance.
Yes.
And then you're like, oh, I haven't clapped.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, which I think must be very fulfilling for musicians to do that.
Absolutely. To know that people appreciate your music like that.
Yeah.
And that they are sitting and just paying attention to what you're putting out to them on stage. Yeah, it means a lot.
If, by any chance, in your imagination or our imagination. Your dad walked in here now and listened to what you had just been saying for the past hour. What would he say to you, or what would you say to him?
I know he would firstly give me the biggest hug, and he used to call me my girl. So he would say, "My girl, I'm so proud of you. I love this work that you've done. Keep going. I'm so proud of you."
And you would?
Probably cry.
Oh.
I'm such a crybaby. I would probably cry.
Listen, I just want to repeat whatever your dad would have said.
Yeah.
That we're proud of you and we wish you all the best, and we want to see more and more of Lindiwe
Thank you.
Gonela on the stages, leading
Thank
her own
you.
band, performing her music and her compositions.
Yeah.
And
Thank you, Sis Nothemba.
we love you and celebrate you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it too.
Come for the jazz and stay for the good times.
On Jazz and Beyond with Nothemba Madumo.
On 702 and Cape Talk.